It's the continuation of what I did last but 1 week, that is correlation. And you know that correlation coefficient is also known as product moment correlation coefficient, or sometimes it is called Karl Pearson's correlation coefficient. I hope that you practiced with the formula to solve and you tried with some problems from the book. Okay, so a new student has joined in EC section A. He is lateral, and I talked to him, and he has been advised to see my YouTube videos to get along. And this student, his name is Shayan. I welcome him in my classroom. I don't know whether he is present right now. And let us start my today's topic. And you see, to begin with, I have, and to recapitulate, I have noted here the correlation coefficient between the two random variables capital X and capital Y, whose formula is given by this. Now, regarding this, I must mention one thing. When I took the correlation chapter for the first time, after that I uploaded my note in the Google Classroom, but in that note there were little mistakes. Okay, and therefore I identified the mistake yesterday, and I rectified the mistake and updated the note accordingly. So if you have downloaded my previous note, you just delete it and re-download it. And if you have not done so, then you don't have to worry. The note has currently updated. The mistake which was present in the note was that in the computational formula, I forgot to mention this factor 1 by n. This factor was not there. And in here also, besides summation xi square, 1 by n was missing, and summation yi square, 1 by n was missing. So I have mentioned everything over here. I ask all of you to go through the note once again, and you will get to know what I mean to say. So this is my computational formula to compute correlation, and let's begin with a problem. This is my problem number 1, and it talks about something which is, let me save the chat first of all. Okay, so the problem goes like this. A computer, while calculating correlation coefficient between two variables capital X and capital Y from 25 pairs of observations, obtained the following results. Number of observation is 25. The sum total of the column of the random variable X is 125. Sum total of the column X square is 650. Sum total of the column Y is 100, and sum total of the column Y square is 460, and sum total of the column XY is equal to 508. Now these columns are very important. You know, these columns are important because all of these columns are actually needed. All of these columns are actually needed to calculate correlation coefficient. XY is present over here, X square is present over here, Y square is present over here, and we also need the arithmetic mean of the variables. So the values of these variables have not been given, but their sum total have been given. Now the problem is, it was later found that two pairs of observations were wrongly copied down, while the correct observations are actually as follows. Now once you took the observation, the experimenter took the observations, after calculating all the summations, suppose somehow he got to know that two of the pairs of the observations with which he started working on, they were actually misleading or wrong. So he needed to rectify those mistakes, and he had to replace the wrong pair by the correct pair. Now the wrong pairs for the variables are given, and the correct pairs are also given. Now since it is a bivariate distribution, the values come pairwise. Now the wrong pair is 6 and 14. X equal to 6 and Y equals to 14, that is one of the wrong pairs. Whereas the correct pair would have been 8 and 12. Okay. Another wrong pair was 8 and 6. X equal to 8 and Y equals to 6. But the correct pair would have been X equal to 6 and Y equals to 8. And he has noted it down, and now he has to rectify the correlation coefficient, which will be calculated based upon these corrections. If you try to calculate the correlation coefficient with these information, okay, as it is given in the problem, now that correlation coefficient, as you know right now that these values are wrong, if you use these values to calculate the correlation coefficient, that value of correlation coefficient will be wrong, okay, or misleading. So we need to correct each and every item present here before we go to calculate the correlation coefficient. But one thing cannot be corrected, and that is n equals to 25. N equals to 25 is cannot be corrected because the number of observations is 25 and it has to remain same. Okay. Other than this, summation x square, summation y square, summation xy, all of these things need to be corrected. I'm going to tell you about how the procedure of correcting all these items, okay, one after another. Corrected summation x. To correct summation x, we will first take the value of summation x 125. Now you see the wrong pair of the wrong values of x in the wrong pair are 6 and 8. So 6 and 8 will be subtracted, and the correct value of x in the correct pair is 8 and 6. 8 and 6 will be added, and the corrected value of the summation x is 125. Okay, corrected value of summation y will be the wrong pair of values for y's are 14 and 6. So minus 14 and minus 6, these two have been subtracted, and the correct values of y from the correct pair is 12 and 8. So 12 and 8 have been added. So the corrected value of y is 100. Okay. Now you may become confused a little bit, because you see there is no change in the original value x, or value for the summation x, and the corrected value for the summation x. There is no change in the original value of summation y and the corrected value of the summation y. Just like you see, if I try to correct the value of summation x square, that will be 650 minus 6 square plus 8 square, 6 square minus 8 square plus 8 square plus 6 square, which is 650 once again. Now all these corrected summation x, corrected summation y, corrected summation x square, they are not different from the original observations. So you may be confused, you may become confused, and you can ask me why do we need to show these corrections? Yes, we do have to show these corrections because in this particular case of correlation, the values do not come individually. X and y do not come individually, they come pairwise, because you always have to keep in mind that you are dealing with a bivariate distribution. Okay, so for 14 minus 6, 14 plus 6 is 20, so minus 14 minus 6 is minus 20, and 12 plus 8 is 20. Now there is so the values are minus 20 and plus 20 cancelling each other, but there is a huge change in the observations. Here 14 and 6, so these are the values of y which are associated with the values of x in the pair, but here the values of y are 12 and 8. So here only their sum is not important. Here how they are paired together, that is also important. So although in this particular problem, summation x, summation y, summation x square, they are same as corrected summation x, corrected summation y, corrected summation x square, because these values of this pair of values in the wrong pair of observations and correct pair of observations are given in such a manner. But it is not that will happen always. For some other problems, this value may become changed. Okay. So to avoid this, to make you understand this particular thing, let me point the corrected value of summation y square and corrected value of summation xy. You will see that original value of summation y square was 460 and original value of summation xy was 508. Corrected value for both of these two have been changed, and this change is being reflected now here in summation y square and summation xy. So to calculate corrected summation y square, we first take into consideration the original value 460, and we subtract the squared items of the wrong observations of y, that is 14 squared and 6 squared are subtracted, and 12 squared and 8 squared are added, and we get 436. Originally this was 460, now it has reduced. Similarly, to calculate the corrected value of summation xy, we first considered the original value 508, and now the wrong pair in which capital X and capital Y are present, their product is being taken. So we subtract 6 into 14, and we also subtract 8 into 6, and we add the product of these two, 8 into 12 and 6 into 8, and after the calculation you get 520. So initially it was 508, now it is getting increased to 520. So the change in the corrected value is getting reflected in the last two items, that is summation y square and summation xy. I hope you have understood what I mean to say. Let me save the chat once again. It is also necessary. Now x bar, let us come to the point of x bar, which is arithmetic mean of the random variable x, and y bar, that is arithmetic mean of the random variable y. Now x bar, since summation x and corrected summation x are same, so you can say that x bar can be written as 125 by 25, that is 5, and y bar can be written as summation y by 25, that is 100 by 25, that is 4, because summation y and corrected summation y are both same. But I will suggest that not to do so. To calculate corrected summation, to calculate x bar and y bar, I have highlighted the word corrected over here. Always it will help you to keep in mind that this 125 is not the original 125, but the corrected 125, which is, what should I say, accidentally is same to the original one. Okay, so I have considered the corrected value. Similarly, to calculate y bar, I have highlighted the word corrected over here. Here I have chosen the 100 from the corrected section and not from the original section. Okay, and thus we calculate corrected mean of x, which is 5, and corrected mean of y, which is 4. Okay. After this, let us go to the computational formula, which is given in the beginning of this particular chapter. Okay. Now here I am going to substitute all the values, and I'm going to calculate this. But I will suggest to all of you, and it comes from I'm telling this from my personal experiences. Often I have seen while checking copies earlier that students, they become so impatient, and they become so negligent that while after doing all these kind of corrections, all such corrections, so once it happened that a particular student was seeing that corrected values of y, x and x square remain same, and he, without calculating, guessed that since these three are same, so y square and xy will also be same. A tremendous amount of mistake was done. And secondly, one student, it is an experience, I saw that students corrected everything in proper way, but he was at a certain point, after a certain point, he became negligent, and while substituting the values over here, he put the original values, and his entire problem got cancelled out just because of this negligence. So I suggest all of you to be very, statistics is not a tough subject, but it is always a misleading subject, and this sometimes the expressions are so clumsy, the calculations are so spiteful that you have to be a little bit careful to proceed with. Otherwise, if you do not put care in the calculation part, whether you are doing it by using calculator or you doing it manually, then your system or your problem is prone to error. Okay, so you have to be very careful. So here I am not mentioning in the formula, I am supposed to mention 1 by n corrected this minus corrected this into corrected this, but if I do so, the expression will become very clumsy, and we all know that it is automatically implied. I have substituted all the corrected values over here, and thus after calculating, we have got the correlation coefficient between the two as 0.67. Okay, So this is the first problem, and it is a very important problem. I hope you have understood. Okay. Next is a theorem. And first of all, I shall discuss the proof of the theorem. Theorem is extremely helpful and also very important. And then I'm going to show its application, and I'm going to tell you why it is so important. The theorem says that correlation coefficient is independent of change of origin and scale. Okay, what does it mean? Let us start with a bivariate system with the two variables capital X and capital Y. Okay, coming pairwise together. Now I'm going to change the two variables capital X and capital Y into a new set of variables capital U and capital V. You may ask me why. Now that why part will be answered in the application section. Okay, I'm going to change for some reason or other the variables capital X and capital Y to a new set of variable U and V. How to change these variables? I'm writing U as X minus A by H and V as Y minus B by K. Okay. Now this A, B, H, K, these numbers are all different from one another. Sometimes they may be same, but there is no such restrictions that A, B, H, and K must be same or has to be different. There is no restriction. They are of your choice, but they are constants. And since I'm dividing by H and K, you have to keep in mind that H and K must be positive, strictly positive. Okay, cannot be negative. Negative number cannot be divisors. Zero cannot be divisors. U equals to X minus A by H means H represents the scale change. Okay, and minus A is, it actually represents the origin is being shifted to A. Here scale change is being represented by K and origin is being shifted to B. Okay, I hope that you are acquainted with this sort of substitution, and you probably have used it while calculating arithmetic mean in your school syllabus. If these are assumed, then capital X can be written as A plus H into U, and capital Y can be written as B plus K into capital V. Now I am going to take expectation on both the sides. Now therefore the expected value of capital X will be expected value of this item, and that can be written as expected value of this constant plus expected value of this product H into U. But since H is constant, this constant can come outside the expectation. So expected value of capital X can be written as A plus H multiplied by the expected value of U. Similarly, from this expression, we can write Y equals to B plus KV. And if I take the expectation on both the sides, we get expected value of capital Y to be expected value of this item, that is expected value of this constant plus expected value of this product K multiplied by capital V, but K is constant, it can come outside the expectation sign. So I can write it as expected value of Y is equal to B plus K into expected value of B. So we have actually got four equations. One equation is this, another equation is that, one equation is this, and another equation is that. Now we are going to associate X and EX together. We are going to associate Y and EY together. What is the process of association? I am going to subtract EX from X, I am going to subtract EY from Y. And if I do so, you will get X minus EX as H into U minus EU and Y minus EY as K into V minus EV. Okay. Now covariance of XY, which is very important to calculate the correlation coefficient and which comes in the numerator part of the formula, covariance of XY can be written in terms of expectation as E of X minus EX multiplied by Y minus EY. I am going to substitute the values of X minus EX and Y minus EY, and I get expected value of X minus EX and Y minus EY. In place of X minus EX, I am going to write H into U minus EU. So ultimately it becomes HK E minus E of U minus EU V minus EV. Compare these two parts. If this is covariance of XY, that part will be covariance of UV. So we have got a very interesting formula, which is covariance of XY equal to HK into covariance of UV. I'm going to tell you very soon what is the applicability of this. Sigma x square represents variance. So sigma x square can be written as E of X minus EX whole square. So H square can be, if I substitute this, we'll get H square expectation of u minus eu whole square. If e of x minus ex whole square is sigma x square, so expectation of u minus eu whole square will be sigma u square. So sigma x square can be written as h square into sigma u square. Similarly, the variance of y, sigma y square, can be written as k square into sigma v square by making this substitution. You see that covariance of xy and sigma x square and sigma y square both are free of change of origin, because terms like small a and small v, which we assume are not coming into the picture. But this is not, these things are not free of change of scale, because in the formula covariance of xy, if I change the variable x to u and variable y to v, then the terms of scales h and k are coming into the picture. Okay, here variance is also is not free of scale, but it is free of origin. Here also variance is not free of scale, but free of origin. Okay. Interestingly, these items are not all free of origin and scale. They are free of origin, but not of scale. But interestingly, if I'm going to calculate the correlation coefficient between the two variables, capital X and capital Y, by the formula which is covariance of xy by sigma x sigma y, you see what happens. In place of covariance of xy, I am writing hk multiplied by covariance of uv. And since sigma x squared is h squared sigma u squared, so sigma x can be written as h into sigma u, sigma y can be written as k into sigma v. Sigma x squared is a variance, sigma y squared is a variance. They are measuring distance, and their square root will be the positive square root only. You already know that. Now, in the numerator you are getting hk, in the denominator you are getting hk. I can cancel both the items, and ultimately we are getting covariance of uv by sigma u into sigma v. And that item is similar to r into uv, r of uv, correlation coefficient between the two variables. So this, what we see, that although covariance of xy, sigma x square, sigma y square, they are not free of, they were free of origin, but they are not free of scale. Correlation coefficient is free of both of them. Correlation coefficient is independent of both change of origin and scale. None of these items like h, k, a, b are coming into the picture. So if I change the variable to u and v, and if I find their correlation coefficient, that will reflect the correlation coefficient between the original two variables. Answer the question is why I'm going to change the variables to u and v. Is it extremely needed, or what is the objective of doing that? Here is a problem number 2, which will justify the above theorem. Problem number 2, I have taken two variables capital X and capital Y, one representing mother's IQ and another representing daughter's IQ, and these are IQ quotients measured in some way, some units, and I have chosen 10 members. Okay, and these daughters are the eldest daughters, okay, of the mothers. I'm going to draw the scatter diagram. I'm going to guess at the value of the sample correlation coefficient. I'm going to compute the correlation coefficient, and I'm going to put my conclusion on the calculation. By Microsoft Excel, I am going to put the scatter diagram, and it is coming in this particular manner. This is the scatter diagram of the daughter's IQ. You see, a layman, if you show the picture to a layman, the layman will be able to say that this IQ of daughters has kind of upward tendency. Okay, kind of linear upward tendency. It seems that as if it has a kind of linear upward tendency. And from this particular scatter diagram, it is also clear that since it has a kind of, the variables like mother's IQ and daughter's IQ are perfectly positively correlated because this upward tendency, because of this upward tendency. So the guessed value of the correlation coefficient, the value cannot be guessed, but it will be, we can say that it will be very near to the value of 1, which is the measure of the perfect positive correlation. Okay, I'm going to compute the correlation coefficient now. So I have made a chart over here. You are very familiar, you are too much familiar with the chart. I discussed it. So here the serial numbers have been maintained. Okay, just to check how many items I am working with. And here the mother's IQ are treated as capital X and daughter's IQ are treated as capital Y. Since here are 10 numbers are there in both the sections, So the mid numbers are 5 and 6, the row 5 and row 6. Okay, but since A, B, H, and K, these items are different from one another. So you see, I am intentionally taking A to be from 5th row and B to be from 6th row. So I have made here this, I have considered X minus 115 over here and Y minus 118 over here. Since H and K can be different from one another, so I have selected H and K, and it is totally my choice. It is totally your choice. You can consider 2 also, you can consider 3 also, whatever you want. Okay, so I have considered 10 and 15. There is no hard and fast rule about the choice of H and K. It is experimenter's purview. But why am I doing this kind of change? It is because if I keep these values as it is, just like I did in my previous example, when I will take the square of capital X and capital Y, when I multiply X and Y, the items will be so huge and it will be very difficult for us to tackle the situation. Okay, because in practicality, we shall not be dealing with only 10 items, we'll be dealing with 100 items. Okay. So the change of origin and scale is actually needed to reduce the size of the values. Okay, so the size of the values are reducing and you are getting a combination of positive and negative values altogether, you see. Okay, and then in the correlation coefficients, according to the correlation coefficient formula, we need these items u square, v square, uv. I'm calculating all of them, and just like my previous example, I'm calculating summation of this column, summation of this column, summation u square, summation v square, summation uv, calculating u bar, the arithmetic mean of u, v bar, the arithmetic mean of v. You all know how to do it. Mean can be positive or can be negative. It is not, mean is not probability, remember. And after calculating all these items, I am writing the correlation coefficients formula in terms of u and v, and all the x's and y's will be replaced by u's and v's. And from the chart, I am substituting the values. And you be very careful while calculating this, because see, things are already be very clumsy and that will be very misleading. So you have to be very careful. While I solved this particular problem, I did it manually and I made mistake once. Okay, so I ultimately, after calculating, we are getting approximately the value of the correlation coefficient between u and v to be 0.86. But this correlation coefficient 0.86 is the correlation coefficient between u and v. Does it reflect the correlation coefficient between the original variable x and y? Answer is yes, because in the previous theorem you have already seen that the correlation coefficient u and v and x and y are free of change of origin, and therefore they are same. So the correlation coefficient between u and v will reflect the correlation coefficient between x and y. Okay, and this also implies, since you see our guessed item was the correlation coefficient will be very near to 1, it is indeed very near to 1, and also it says us that the mother CyQ and daughter CyQ are positively correlated. That means if the mother CyQ increases, daughter CyQs are also going to increase. But these facts are not universal. These are facts which are justified on the basis of sample. So we will be doing sample survey. This thing will be clarified to you. I am now going to stop the share of this particular page. I'm not going to show you something else. Okay, I'll come back to this page once again. So right now I am going to share this Excel sheet, and I'm going to quickly tell you how to do the calculation of this, how to draw the scatter diagram and how to calculate the correlation coefficient using Microsoft Excel, because Microsoft Excel is easily available, and as I promised, I'm going to show you today. So here I have already tabulated all the items of mother CyQ and daughter CyQ, and properly in a proper way I have made this chart. First of all, I'm going to show you how to draw the scatter diagram. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to select this particular chart altogether, and then I'm going to the part insert, then I'm going to this section scatter, and the first figure scatter with only markers is being selected, and you see the scatter diagram which I showed you is being reflected over here. From here you can choose the colors or you can format the chart, but I'm not going to show you the format because you are adults and you can do formatting by yourself. You can do formatting better than me. So this is how we get the scattered diagram. The next important thing is to calculate the correlation coefficient between the two items. So again, first of all, we'll consider this particular chart, and then I'm going to select any of the blank cell where you want your values to be. So I can select the blank cell to be this one. Then I'm going to put a click on it, double click, and then I'm going to put the equality sign. Okay. Let us now move on to this section, formulas. Let us click on it, formulas, and then we will click on more functions. And then from more functions, we are going to go to the section statistical. And then you go downwards and you will come to Corel. Corel means correlation, array 1 and array 2. You click on it. Now array 1 means the variable capital X and array 2 means the variable capital Y. So first of all, I'm going to select array 1. I'm selecting the first value and then I'm going to select each item. Okay, A2 from A11. Then I'm going to click on array 2 and I'm going to select this one, and then from B2 to B11. And you see the correlation coefficient is being shown to you, 0.8621794142. Click OK and you are going to get your correlation coefficient. Okay, so that is how Excel is used to calculate the correlation coefficient. I'm going to stop this particular share. Don't worry, in the note, this particular section, you are going to get all of these things in the note. Okay, I'm going to go back to my previous note. So that is how we actually calculated the correlation coefficient between the items. Let me select my pointer. Okay. Now here is another important point which says that correlation measures association but not causation. What does it actually mean? To make you understand this particular part, I have considered problem number 3. Problem number 3 says is showing you a chart where capital X represents the year of school spent by the persons from 1 to 10. Students 1 to 10 spent years in school, and these are the years actually, and their pulse rate, reduced pulse rate. This is reduced pulse rate. Okay. Now this particular pair is being shown to you, pair of observations. Very absurd, you know. This pair of observation is very absurd. Person spent in school, pulse rate is sometimes it is increasing, sometimes it is reducing. Okay. More see, for example, person number 4 spending more years and his pulse rate is reduced. Here person number 1 is spending 12 years, his pulse rate is increased. So what is the association between the two? Are they getting backlogs or what? Or not getting jobs? So is there any kind of association? Apparently it seems there is no association. There is no association between the two. And if I give these variables to you, we'll say that, oh, probably the correlation coefficient between them is 0. But correlation coefficient 0 implies what? That has already been discussed in the previous class. So first of all, I'm going to do the scattered diagram. I'm going to show the scattered diagram. I have pasted what I have shown as calculation. Just now I showed you in the Excel sheet. This particular operation has been pasted over here for your understanding. And we got the pulse rate as this. Pulse rate is also, this diagram is also very absurd. Here a kind of similarity is there, kind of the levels are same. Here it is a decreasing, here they are again same, here they are again same. So I cannot immediately say whether it has a downward tendency or upward tendency. For this section, it is what should I say? It is partwise downward and partwise increasing, or partwise decreasing. Okay, so nothing can be said about this, which is very absurd observations you have obtained. What will be the correlation coefficient between the two? To calculate I have got the correlation coefficient between the two variables as minus 0.76. And I have taken the help of Microsoft Excel to do this calculation. Microsoft Excel, the entire thing has been shown over here to you, just for the sake of your understanding, and so that you can later use it while trying to calculate by your own. And you see, by using this Microsoft Excel, we have actually got the value as minus 0.76. So value is negative, and that implies that the more you spend in school, the less you are going to have pulse rate. Okay, our usual notion is what? If there is a kind of relation, more you are in this, more you are in the Techno India, you spend maximum number of years in Techno India, that means your pulse rate is going to increase or decrease. It is going, I think it is going to decrease, because your blood pressure will increase, because you have to got so many backlogs which have to be cleared. But here the situation is saying something different. Okay, so how to make a conclusion out of all this? Here I have written the conclusion, which I am going to read out for you. Okay, so see what I have written. The above calculation shows a negative correlation between an individual's years of education and that individual's resting pulse rate. This implies that the additional years of education will decrease the individual's pulse rate, but a thorough observation reveals that although the additional years of school tend to reduce the pulse rate, yet it cannot be considered as the direct cause. In this instance, it may be that a person who has spent additional time in school is more aware of the latest findings in the area of health, and thus may be more aware of the importance of exercise and good nutrition. Or perhaps it is not knowledge that it is making difference, but rather that people who have had more education tend to end up in jobs that allow them more time for exercise and good nutrition. Probably the strong negative correlation between years in school and resting pulse rate results from a combination of these as well as other underlying factors. I have read this out for you, but I ask you to go through this particular paragraph again and again when you will revise this particular section. What this particular paragraph is trying to say to you is that correlation is a kind of measure which tries to quantify the association between the two variables, but you cannot say that one variable is the cause of the other. The resting pulse rate of the students is not because of it is not being caused by the additional years spent in the school, but maybe it is being caused by some other hidden reasons. Okay, so that's why that important note was shown to you, that correlation is actually measures association, but it is not, cannot be considered as a causation. So my time has already run out and the meeting will cancel. I hope you have understood, and I will upload the video in the YouTube. We are going to get it, and hope you have enjoyed my today's class. This much for today. We'll meet again soon. Okay, so bye.